Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to another
VanChat
VanChat Tuesday. And this week we're going to talk about, I suppose, the eco side of living in a van. We're not talking about going veggie or vegan or anything like that, although those are great ways to obviously bring down your carbon footprint and everything.
Absolutely.
But on our side of things, it's more about our experience over the last few months of living in the van and what that means to not only daily costs, so how much we spend for us or on fuel or things like that, but also the way that we can actually reduce our needs from energy and just buying things in general, really.
Yeah, and compared to being in the house, it's a comparison that a lot of people will see, because it's two different things altogether. You do things dramatically different in a van than you do in a house. So we just thought it might be nice to to chat about that.
Again, these videos are just us, kind of talking through what we've learned, really, and if they can help everybody, then great.
Yeah.
And if they come up with things that you've not thought about, great. And if you think of things that we've not thought about, then let us know.
That's what we love it when with all the comments, isn't it? That we'll go through the comment section and we'll be like, well, did you know that?
Yeah.
And it's brilliant, and it's brilliant that it's really rounded, because it means that if ever we're asked about it because of this, we'll include other people's answers too, and say we found this out ourselves. It's great,
because what we found is it's a very small community. People that live in a van, or even people that just weekend warriors or whatever, everybody always learns something from their experience, and by all sharing that, it just makes it easier for us all, really. So it's not our community, it's all of our community.
It's the community.
Yeah. And if it can be one that we can all learn from and be safer and all that kind of stuff, and if you can do something a little bit better and a little bit cheaper, then why not share it?
And everybody does things slightly differently, which is why I think it makes it so wonderful that you can pass all these little tidbits of information on. I've just done that this morning. Just been having a lovely chat and passed on some other information. It's it's absolutely brilliant. Love it.
So let's get into the first one, and probably the one where a lot of people will be thinking, go on, tell us, how much does it cost to live in your van? Now, we recently did a video, 6 months of van life, which is up there. You see it? You see it right there?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. So if you go watch that video, you'll learn more about our breakdown of the costs and things like that. But on average, our costs to travel around, so non-COVID, sit in a long place for a long time, are between, say, 700 and 850 a month. We did try and get it to 650 to 700, but we just like enjoying ourselves quite a lot.
And we also really don't mind driving. I think that's half the thing. We don't mind putting the miles in, which of course costs more money. So and
we do like, if we stay somewhere for a long time, like you might have seen in our vlog last week, we'll go to the local shops and we'll treat ourselves, or we'll stay in a pub overnight and things like that. Because
it's always about putting back into the community as well, as because
it is for us,
try and see if we can make sure that people in vans are always going to be welcome there, and if they see you doing that, then it's a good thing.
Because if we find a really good spot, then we want you to go there and you to help out that little community, shop in the shops there and go to the pubs and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, if you can, do what you can if you can, but everyone's suffering at the minute, aren't they? So it's always nice to be able to put, even if it's just a little bit, like buying some magnets for your kitchen.
Taps. But no, that cost includes fuel, our insurance, road tax, breakdown cover, eating, Cooper's costs, like I say, going to the pub and buying some treats, food, campsite fees, laundry and all that kind of stuff as well. So, but if you, like I say, if you want a breakdown, then you can go watch that video and you'll find out about that. But we have cut our costs by probably about a third.
I'd say 2/3.
Sorry, yes, we've cut our costs. Well,
our costs are a third of what they
used to be. And I would say although we live in a smaller space, we've not really changed our eating habits or anything else.
No, really. I think we still eat really good food, because I cook it all. But no, we still eat well, which is always good. We've still got a good quality dog food for Cooper. We're not scrimping on all that kind of thing. So that is really good for us, because we thought that it was either still going to be quite expensive, because we have been known to have expensive tastes, haven't we? So
you do. think we're as bad as each other.
I'm going to go and say, Amazon, can you tell me one about John's expensive tastes?
No.
But no, we're really pleased with that. And of course, that means that it is still doable with me not working.
Yeah.
So if it was any more, or if it was more, or more than half, then I suppose it would be a little bit more difficult for us to be able to crack on with, and it's comfortable. So it does give us the opportunity to spend more if we need to or not.
Yeah. So that covers your cost. Obviously, this is our cost, and on the economies of scale, you can't halve that if you're on your own, because obviously, whilst there might be two of us, a lot of things there is one cost, like insurance, fuel, and all the other bits, food. Whilst Mandy might make 2 meals, it's not necessarily twice as expensive in that. So
no, because if John was on his own, it'd be ready meals, which are way more expensive anyway. So it would it would be different. But
you're gonna have to work your own costs on that one kind of thing. But
it will be a lot less than living in a house for sure. I mean, we know people, the same people as we do, who can live on a tremendously small amount.
Yeah, you
see, there's like £25 a week for all sorts of things, and that's amazing. And it just shows what you can do once you get all the other outgoings right down. It is possible. It is a frugal lifestyle, and it can be. It's good.
So the next one, and it's kind of like the majority of people entering into van life right now are buying either a used motorhome, or you're buying a builder's van, something like that, and kit it out. And therefore, you've got the concept of repurposing, upcycling, using something that's cheap and assembling it as cheap as you can, or whatever. And that's another side of this is, don't ever think that you got to go and spend a load of cash. I mean, fair enough, we bought this van, it was a load of cash, but we saved almost the same amount of money again from not buying it new.
Yeah.
And the fact that we built our last van to a certain spec meant that it would obviously give us a better value than it was when we bought it. So we got that money back, and that's one thing. You can add value to your van, whether it's campervan conversion or motorhome, by doing those upgrades and doing those sort of like upcycles yourself. So that's something you should bear in mind, is if you really can't do DIY, and I'd really ask you to try, loads of YouTube videos out there for people that can help, then yes, you can go get someone. But by getting someone to do it, you are going to obviously pay their price. We've done it. There are certain things I won't do or we can't do, and we'll pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, if you can do it yourself, then it's free, really, isn't it?
And the sense of achievement is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also use reclaimed materials to even bump that up more, instead of going and buying new stuff. And then you're also adding personality to it for something that's got, it's already had a history. Yeah,
I mean, there's two examples for that. Is, say, if you want some wood in there, you can use pallet wood. Or, I mean, one great example is if you've not checked him out, Mark Ivervan, he bought a old sort of caravan that had been bashed, someone had run into it with a car, and took everything out of that, including the windows, the interior, and put it inside of a builder's van. And then he's got his camper van. So
and it looks absolutely brilliant. He's done a really good job with it, but then it's like that caravan would have been scrap.
Yeah.
Because
so it'd have been waste, and he's
so
spent a few £100 and upcycled it all.
So it's brilliant stuff. Give it a go.
Yeah. And then there's like the natural resources and your needs, your power needs, and there's that kind of aspect to it. So for example, let's talk about water. We watch our water now, so we have a bit of a laugh when we go into people's houses and they're washing something, and they just turn the tap on almost full and start washing something, carrying on and that. And they wouldn't even believe you if you said you've just wasted 25-30 litres of water to wash 2 cups. They wouldn't believe you. But we know how much that water gushing through that tap now costs us, if you like, for how much we've got to go and collect and find somewhere to fill the tanks up. So that's something to bear in mind, is you are going to understand your usage a lot better, and therefore won't be using those resources, natural resources, as much, which makes it greener. And
the same goes for gas.
Yep.
It's as minimal as possible to use it to keep it.
Because that is for us a natural resource, as well as LPG being that much more difficult to get hold of recently. It is one of those resources you're checking your levels. Have we got enough gas for the next week, because we're travelling and we might be going more remote places, so you keep an eye on that. And you've also got that, I've gone and filled it up, and I've paid for it and I know how much I've got, rather than you used to have a bill every 3 months or a month, and, oh yeah, so many units of gas you've used and you've no idea. Well, now you do actually see that much more impactful, should I say.
Yeah. So, and it just makes you more aware of what you're spending and when you spend it, and I just really like that.
Yeah, it's paid it, use it, pay it, use it, kind of thing.
Instead of having this big question mark of how much is my gas bill going to be if I don't wear like 3 cardigans and sit on the sofa in winter. Yeah.
And then there's the other one, which is electric, and what we do is basically we collect it either from solar panels on the roof or from the engine alternator as we're driving down the road, and we don't plug in. So therefore power is free to us. So if we can utilize that power, collect it into our batteries, store it there, and utilize it in as many things as we can electric wise. That's electric coffee maker.
Yep.
I know this is going on the extreme side, but to generate the heat to make a coffee, you need much more power than 12 volt can supply. Then we've got the instant pot as well for food.
Yep. So
cooking really good meals and everything through that, as well as obviously having all the devices, and we power our gear and charge everything and that. But that's all free, which used to cost us at least £35-40 a month for electric. And
it is really good to know that everything that you're doing, not only is it refillable for free, you just got you're constantly monitoring how much you're using to make sure you can get that back again. But it's nice to know that I know on a blinding hot day most people might not want to drink coffee. I do. Still. And it's nice to know that it is free. I can use that coffee maker as many times as I like, and I'm not going to be wearing down the gas that we might need for heating and hot water and whatnot.
But it just makes you that more mindful of what you're using, because you've not got an infinite supply anymore that someone just sends you a bill for it at the end of the month or quarter. You have got so much for the next 12 hours, and you need to make sure that that's going to last you. So I actually like that. I like the concept of water, gas and electric they're not unlimited. You've got so much with you, and you have to be mindful of how you use it and balance your needs with what you've got available until the next time you can collect more. So I kind of like that. It makes you more, I suppose, environmentally friendly, more aware of what you're doing. And that brings us on to the next bit, which is lower impact on the environment. Because you are more aware, you are less likely to, like I say, leave the tap running or leave all the lights on in the house wasting electric, or having the gas oven. I mean, I can't remember the amount of times where you used to come home from work, we used to put the oven on, and then we used to talk about what we want to eat, and we're like, oh no, and then you go in the fridge, the date's gone on that, and blah blah blah, and before you know it, the oven's been on for 25-30 minutes just getting to temperature,
just preheating.
But we haven't cooked anything yet, and then sometimes we might have gone, we'll have a takeaway or we'll go out.
because whatever we wanted we can't have and stuff. But it was thoughtless.
I
think that was it.
We weren't as mindful, and we didn't value the natural resources because they were just there. It just came to us, on the end of a pipe or electric cable or whatever. So this whole idea of van life, I believe, is one of really bringing down your impact on, I wouldn't say carbon footprint, but we'll get into that in a minute, but certainly on your demands of natural resources. And then, like I say, getting onto carbon footprint, I suppose the fact that Mandy doesn't work,
so I've not got my commute anymore.
And you don't own a car or anything like that to upkeep. Mine's remote, so I don't have to drive anywhere. I know we drive the van, but we try and keep that to minimum short trips every 2 days. And really, like I've just said about everything else, that is so mindful of what we do that reduces our carbon footprint too. The van is used, so I don't know how quite that works out in the fact that it's been built, and to build it's
the big thing with veganism, because with one of the things with veganism is the recycle and reuse. So you try not to buy anything new, hit up those charity shops, do all that kind of thing, because that carbon footprint, that I suppose it's one of the things that's already gone, because somebody else has kind of offset that carbon footprint because they've used that. Every time you reuse or recycle something, then you're lowering that carbon footprint because it means something new hasn't had to be made.
And the longer we can keep this van going and working for us and everything else, then the better, because we're making more use of what's been used to make it, sort of thing. So and then we are sort of bringing in another side of it, and a lot of people asked about this, which is pretty much what Mandy's side, and that's about homemaking of cleaning products and health or hygiene products as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there is a bit on the website, no plug, but it is on there because all the details are on there. But because we are out and about in nature all the time, I don't like the idea, and it's not for everybody, and I know that they're differing everywhere. I don't like the idea of using bleaches or chemicals if I have to empty the grey tank anywhere that isn't like an official grey waste point. And I know we try to use grids and stuff, but sometimes it's just not possible. And sometimes I'm hand washing things, so I use e-cover if I'm using washing up liquid or softener. I've got an eco egg that gives you 70 uses out of one of these eggs. That means there's no plastic packaging, there's none of this stuff.
That's when we do laundry,
and that's that's for the laundry, and that also means you're not constantly going to buy it again, because you can even get 120 washes in one little egg, and you're not having to cart around a load of capsules or things. And I make my own cleaning products, even a toilet cleaner. I make my own deodorant. There's so many things, and facial toner. But it also means that for the one very little box, I've got like a plastic shoe box, and that gives me enough to make about 6 months worth of natural cleaning products and deodorants and everything that I need in there, just out of that one little box. So not only does it save us space, which means we're not carting around extra stuff and using extra fuel, it means that there's no carbon footprint, 'cause we're not going to the shops all the time to get all these cleaning products. We're not putting chemicals into the environment,
and they're really good. I mean, what was it you used the other day? You use your vinegar based product or whatever, and it totally cleans something in seconds.
Well, it's great for windows. And it was getting mould off. There was mould behind the sofa. Well, not mould, it was like marks on the thing behind one of the things we don't move. And it just cleaned it all right off straight away. It leaves it smelling nice, and it's not come back. There's been no marks coming back, and you can use it on anything. I use it to clean the leather down. It is just really I like it. It gives me a little warm glow inside, because I'm not adding to all the chemicals and plastic and stuff that's going on in the world at the minute.
And that brings us kind of succinctly onto the next one, which is producing less waste as well. But it's just the concept of not buying so much stuff that you're not then throwing so much stuff away, even if it's just buying food and then wasting half of the food or something.
Yeah, that's where our expiry date bingo comes in with food. We don't particularly. We used to have a menu on the cupboard, on the chalkboard in the house. We'd get the food in, and then I'd look at the expiry dates, and I'd put down the meals we were having each evening to make sure that nothing was wasted. So I've kind of always done a little something like that, and we just still do that in the van, which is great, because it means you're not in and out of the fridge and letting it warm up and what have you. But I think I was a little bit of a materialistic person. I like things, and I like getting new things, and and I do like tat. And now, as much as if in somewhere going to all of these wonderful places, I would have bought tea towels, or I would have bought magnets for my fridge, or I would have bought things for family members and things, and now I might just buy one thing for somebody else if I see it, or instead I'm texting people pictures of the things that not the tat, but the places where we've been, and that's the souvenir instead, and it feels like it means more, instead of filling the van with crap, excuse the word.
I mean, we used to say, we're downsizing, or we're minimalists or whatever. We are not minimalists.
No, we are not minimalists. We have downsized.
We have downsized, but you can come into our van and you will find lots of things. We're not minimising our sort of things that we have around us for drinks and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But the fact is, we only have a certain amount of space to buy things and store things and take them with us. So I guess what we've done is to work out what we really want and how it can work for us, how one thing might actually do 7 things in the van, and go through that process of just really working out what's important.
I mean, I think you had the thing there in your hand, instead of going and buying plastic bottles all the time, we've got these, and we've got the Berkey, so that means we're not constantly buying plastic, whereas in the house we have you wouldn't be bothered about filling up bottles of water or going out and buying things full of plastic packaging and stuff. And when you've only got a tiny little bin on the back of your door, you realise exactly how quick that fills up. So I figured out now I'll quite happily go into supermarkets with a Tupperware dish and go to the meat counter, and they will use your Tupperware dish instead of giving you loads of plastic. And it's convenient, even as well as being good for the environment, because who wants a load of plastic trays filling up the bin and then it gets warm and smelly and you know.
Because I mean, we have one of those pedal bin liners, so I have a white pedal bin liner. Every 3 days in the house, we would probably go through a big black bin liner. Probably every 2 or 3 days, So we've probably gone down to a third of the waste or thereabouts. Yeah. Which I guess it figures everything's come down by 2/3.
Yeah. And then also the thing where
nowhere near the same space and that. But
where as long as even though we don't use the same plastic, we also remove a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't, like everybody, we've seen so many people in vans and not in vans. It seems to be finally getting back to the do not litter thing again. I think COVID helped people see the fact that it's gone backwards a little bit. When I was at school, it was always to keep Britain tidy. You know, there was always these adverts on the telly about making sure you put things in a bin, and they seem to have disappeared. And now they've disappeared. It seems like, I don't know if it's a new generation of people who haven't seen those adverts,
maybe,
that just think that it's fine to drop litter everywhere. But I'm not standing for it. It might not be my litter, but it's my planet.
Yeah. So you know, we go clean it up.
Keep it tidy. And that's the other thing as well. It feels like if we were in the house, I don't know if we would do. I mean, we've picked up bits around the park before now when we've been walking.
I don't know if we drive somewhere for the day out and get out of the car and
spend an hour picking up litter. Yeah.
But when we park up somewhere overnight, we do go around and clean up. So
because it's where we're choosing to spend the time, so you know, we might as well leave it a bit nicer than when we got there. And just the fact that loads of people are doing that now, I love it, and it's brilliant, and it shouldn't stop. People should stop throwing rubbish, really. But that's the other eco side.
So that's kind of our little learning curve and our experience anyway on the eco side. I don't know if eco was the right word to use, but it felt the right word to use for me.
How much better it is for the environment or your pocket. But
I don't know if you were all thinking we're going vegan. Not quite yet. We are trying responsibly to reduce our waste and needs of
even meat consumption. We have cut back on how much meat we eat and things. So I could easily go vegan.
I couldn't. Bacon and cheese. And chocolate.
And
all the other things. But anyway, that's our little view on it. So like I say, if you've got anything else that you think, oh yeah, you think about this and think about that, then let us know in the comments and share it around everyone else.
Yes.
And we'll catch you on the next little video.
Yes, you will. Thank you very much for watching.
We'll see you again.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.